I want you to go to Nineveh, that great wicked city. And I want you to tell the Ninevites about me. Now, folks, I had an attitude about that. You see, I couldn't stand the Ninevites. As a matter of fact, I hated them. And there was no way I was going to go to Nineveh to tell them about God because I knew they might turn to him. And I didn't want to see that happen. Folks, there should be no one, red, yellow, black, or white, that we dislike so much that we want to see them die and go to a place called hell.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
We should be willing to tell anybody about Jesus. So here's what happened. I got one of my walking shoes, went down to the seaport. Bought me a ticket. Now that ticket should have been bought to go to Nineveh. But me and my rebellion, I bought a ticket to Tarshish. Tarshish is one in one direction, Nineveh is in the other. I was running from the Lord. Flat out disobedient. Got on that boat, and I was tired, worn out. So I went out to the bottom of the boat, taking a nap, and I fell asleep. A deep sleep. You know, adults, it's amazes me sometimes how we as adults can sleep so well when we're not walking with the Lord. But even as we sleep in our rebellion, God is watching over us and protecting us. Went down on that boat, went to sleep. All of a sudden, a great storm came up. That storm was sent by God. It was a storm like these sailors had never seen before. The thunder, the lightning, and the rain. I can imagine that when it thundered, it was so loud it hurt those sailors' ears. When it lightened, if they looked into the lightning, it would blind them. And the rain was coming down so hard that everything was just a fog. It was raining so hard that the boat was beginning to fill up with water. And the captain told his men to bail the water out to try to save the ship and the crew. But you know what, folks? As long as I was on that ship is going to sink, and those men were going to die. You see, when we live in sin, it not only puts our own lives in danger, but other people's lives in danger as well.
Amen. Amen.
Well, all of a sudden, the captain remembered me. Come down to the bottom of the ship. He took both hands. He was a strong guy. He woke me up and started shaking me. And he said, Jonah, why don't you pray to your God that we don't sink and die? Well, I went up on top of the ship, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've never seen anything like it. The rain, the wind, the thunder, the lightning. And I knew that ship was going to sink and everybody else was going to die as long as I was on that ship. So the men took some dice or lots and they threw them. And the dice fell to me. That was God letting them know that I was the problem. The captain asked me what I had done. It was time to pony up. I said, Captain, the God that created the sea and the fish that are in it, the God that created the land and the sun, the moon, and the stars, the God that created you and me, God told me to go to Nineveh, and I said no. Captain, if you'll take me and throw me overboard, you and your crew and your ship will be saved, but if not, you're all going to die. Well, the captain was not a believer. He didn't know the Lord. He was a pagan. But he didn't want to have any part in me dying. So he told his men to keep throwing supplies and to lighten the load. Well, folks, as long as I was on that ship, nothing was going to help. So finally, the captain told his men to throw me overboard, and they did. The ship continued to sail. I was in the middle of the ocean, the sea. As soon as my feet hit the water, wind calmed down. Just enough wind to take the ship on out of reach. It stopped raining, it stopped thundering, it stopped lightning. Skies cleared up, no clouds. Full moon, a billion stars in the sky. It was a beautiful night. But as I treaded water, I began to get tired. And I thought it's all over, and I began to sink. And all of a sudden, I was swallowed by a great sea monster called a whale. I'm in the belly of the whale right now. Let me describe it to you. It's hot. It's humid. It stinks. I've got seaweed wrapped around my body, my head, my face. And the longer I stay in the belly of this sea monster, my whole body begins to burn. And then I realized that it was the whale's digestive juices trying to digest me. I was in constant pain. I was in the belly of that whale for 3 days and 3 nights. Boy, was I hard-headed. And then I started thinking, the same God that wanted me to go to Nineveh has kept me alive inside this fish. That God will hear my prayers, and he'll answer them like he has in times past. So I said a prayer something like this: God, this is Jonah. You put me in the belly of this fish, not because you hate me, but because you love me. God, you've got my attention. God, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you'll get me out of this fish, I'll go to Nineveh, and I'll tell those people about you, even though I don't want to. God heard my prayers. That old fish must have been resting on the bottom of the ocean floor because my ears had been stopped up. As soon as that fish started moving, I could sense he was getting close to the top of the ocean because my ears cleared up. And I could feel that old fish going faster and faster and faster. And all of a sudden, I felt something that I hadn't felt in 3 days. I felt and I smelled fresh air. And that old whale spit me out of the dry ground.